promised, this video is a continuation of our trip down memory lane, reminiscing about TV shows from the 90s that never took off, but we still remember fondly. Or not so fondly. Hopefully your faves are on this list, but if not, let me know in the comments what they are, and maybe, just maybe, I'll do a part 3. If you're just stumbling across my channel for the first time, don't forget to check out part 1. Sugar and Spice aired on CBS from March 30th, 1990 to May 25th, 1990. Set in the small town of Ponca City, Oklahoma, the show centers on two middle-aged African-American sisters with very different personalities, Loretta Fontaine and Vicki Lynn Fontaine Clayton, played by Loretta Devine and Vicki Lynn Reynolds. Vicki Lynn, the quiet and conservative one, is a divorcee, making her living with a mail-order business run out of her home. Loretta, an aspiring actress, bides her time working as a hostess at a cafe. Together, they're raising their teenage niece, Toby, played by Laverne Anderson, the only child of their late sister. Toby's best friend, Ginger, is played by Dana Hill. Bonnie, played by Stephanie Hodge, is Vicki Lynn's assistant. Sadly, the star power of Loretta Devine, who would go on to have a very successful career on both the big and small screens, wasn't enough to keep the show going. It was canceled fairly quickly after only airing 7 episodes. Baghdad Cafe aired on CBS from March 30th, 1990 to July 27th, 1991. The show, based on the 1987 cult German dramedy film of the same name, starred Whoopi Goldberg as Brenda, the proprietor of the Baghdad Cafe and its adjoining motel, and Jean Stapleton as Jasmine, who simply walks away from her husband in the middle of the desert when their car breaks down, and into Brenda's life. Brenda has 2 children, a boy-crazy rebellious teen daughter, Debbie, played by Monica Calhoun, and a single-parent musician son, Junie, played by Scott Lawrence. Just like Jasmine, Brenda ends up dumping her own husband, Sal, played by Cleghorn Little, after finding him in bed with another woman. Rudy, played by James Gammon, is a lustful old man who fancies Jasmine, and is easily the most interesting of the cafe's clientele. Fun fact, the show aired ahead of Sugar and Spice as part of the new Friday night comedy hour on CBS. In addition to suffering from an unfortunate title, the show never really quite clicked. It was a show full of possibilities that were never achieved. Viewers just weren't interested, evidenced by the show ranking 74th in the 2nd season. One could probably surmise that the show didn't stand a chance, being forced to compete with ABC's hit Family Matters. Sources close to the show say production shut down after a dispute between Whoopi and the show's co-executive producer, Thad Mumford. Executive producer Kenneth Kaufman was told that Whoopi called the president of the network to say that she was quitting the show immediately. With no time to recast her role, the network ended the series. According to Entertainment Weekly, her walkout came as little surprise to insiders, who say the actress had been in increasingly fierce and abusive clashes with the show's creative team. New Attitude aired on ABC from August 8, 1990 to September 7, 1990 as part of the TGIF programming block. The sitcom, based on the stage play Beauty Shop by Shelley Garrett, is about 2 sisters, chic and sensible Vicky St. James and brassy, mischievous Yvonne St. James, played by Cheryl Lee Ralph and Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, respectively, who go 50-50 into a new business venture, an upscale black beauty shop called New Attitude. Fun fact, Cheryl also sang the theme song, a cover of Patti LaBelle's 80s hit called New Attitude.
Somehow the wires uncrossed, the tables are turned. I knew I had such a hustle of love. I'm feeling good from my head to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. Ooh, 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 I got a new attitude.
Rounding out the cast is Lamar, the salon's top hairdresser, played by musician, songwriter, and lead singer of funk rock band The Time, Morris Day. BB, a gossipy hairdresser, played by BB Drake, Taylor, the flighty receptionist, played by Karen Bankhead, and Chili D, a street smart kid who's working at the salon for restitution, played by Lorenz Tate. The show aired 6 out of the 8 total episodes filmed before being canceled. In a 2024 interview with Entertainment Weekly on her storied career, Cheryl seemed to allude to the demise of the show having to do with it not getting enough time to find its footing. It had great potential. We did far too few episodes, but what a great time at ABC. True Colors aired on Fox from September 2nd, 1990 to April 12, 1992. Ronald Freeman, played by Frankie Faison, is a widowed African-American dentist in Baltimore who marries Ellen Davis, played by Stephanie Faracy, a divorced white kindergarten teacher who was one of his patients. Ron has two sons from his first marriage, 17-year-old Terry, played by Claude Brooks, and 14-year-old Lester, played by Adam Jeffries. Ellen has a teenage daughter, Katie, played by Bridget Conley Walsh. Although the series did focus on race issues, most episodes focused on the family adjusting to their new living situation and the three children going through adolescence. Executive producer Michael Whithorn said True Colors evolved from a pilot he wrote about a black man and a white woman who became roommates in New York. He took the pilot to the three major networks where they rejected it and were very frank about the fact that they just couldn't air this. Nonetheless, he was still attracted to the idea of a show based on an interracial relationship. So I sort of reworked it and came up with this idea for a blended family. This time he took the show to Fox, knowing from my prior experience that the whole thing involving the whole issue of an interracial romantic relationship when the man is black is off limits to the other networks. Though none of the Fox stations refused to air it, some angry viewers sent threatening hate mail. In the series' second season, the role of Ronald Freeman was taken over by Cleghorn Little. Reportedly, Frankie's reason for leaving was the ever-popular creative differences. However, the rumor is he was just disgusted with the low quality of the show. It was all for the best though, since according to Cleghorn, Whithorn was initially interested in casting him for the role, but he had other obligations. Nancy Walker, who played Ellen's mother, was suffering from lung cancer, ultimately only appeared in half the season's episodes due to her treatments and compromised health. Early in 1992, Robert, played by Norman D. Golden II, was introduced. Robert, who went by the nickname Twist, was a young boy in the neighborhood who attached himself to the Freemans. The new additions didn't help the show gain any momentum, so the April 12th episode wound up being the series' last, as Fox canceled True Colors 1 month later. Where I Live premiered on March 5th, 1993, and ran until November 20th, 1993, as part of ABC's TGIF lineup. The sitcom, based on lead actor Doug E. Doug's own childhood, starred him as 17-year-old Douglas St. Martin, a Trinidadian American living in the Harlem section of New York City. He lived with his caring, hardworking parents, Father James, played by Sullivan Walker, Mother Marie, played by Lorraine Toussaint, and his younger sister, 14-year-old Sharon, played by Unoka Doyle. Much of the show focused on Douglas's misadventures with his best friends, Reggie Coltrane, played by Flex Alexander, and Malcolm Richardson, played by Sean Baker. The main cast also includes Kwanzi, played by Jason Bone Smith, a 10-year-old kid who tries to woo Sharon. A couple of years prior, co-creator Michael Jacobs was devising a version of Thornton Wilder's Our Town that would be set in a black community. Meanwhile, the other co-creator, Enrich Van Lowe, was developing a series based on his experiences growing up in the Bronx. The two eventually got together with Disney's Touchstone Television to develop Where I Live. Although the show drew critical acclaim for its realistic portrayals, the ratings were low compared to the rest of the TGIF lineup, putting it at risk of getting canceled. But with the support from Bill Cosby and fans, the show was renewed for a second season. Cosby would also become a consultant on the series. Sadly, after the show was moved to Saturday nights, the ratings plummeted. 8 episodes were produced for the second season, but the series was canceled after only 3 of them had aired. 704 Hauser aired on CBS from April 11, 1994 to May 9, 1994. The series, a spin-off of the Norman Lear-developed All in the Family, is built around the concept of a black family, the Cumberbatches, moving into the former Queen's home of Archie Bunker after he'd sold the house located at 704 Hauser Street. John Amos, star of another Norman Lear sitcom, Good Times, plays Ernie Cumberbatch, a Vietnam veteran and master mechanic, while Linny Godfrey plays his wife, Rose, a caterer. The show features a reversal of the original All in the Family formula. Ernie and Rose are working-class Democrats, while their son Goody, played by T.E. Russell, is a conservative activist, and his girlfriend, Sherilyn Markowitz, played by Maura Tierney, is white and Jewish. In a 1994 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Lear revealed how the show came about. "I've been keeping the sets for All in the Family in storage since it went off the air. Every year, my accountant calls and yells at me for spending money on storage bills. The last time he called, I happened to be reading Thomas Sowell, who is perhaps the most listened to voice of Black conservatism in the country. A true scholar. And the next day, it just hit me. There's a show in a Black liberal father and his conservative son living in Archie Bunker's old place. Audiences didn't respond favorably to the show, however, and it was canceled after airing 5 of the 6 filmed episodes. Cleghorn aired on the WB from September 10, 1995 to December 17, 1995. The series focuses on the life of Ellen Carlson, played by Saturday Night Live alum Ellen Cleghorn, a single mom who's raising her 9-year-old daughter Akilah, played by Sarita Monet Bickelman, on Manhattan's Upper West Side. Comedic situations arise as Ellen tries to balance raising her daughter, running a local production company in Soho, and the interference of her overbearing parents, Sydney and Lena, played by Garrett Morris and Elena Reed Hall, respectively, who live next door. The main cast also included Steve Bean as Ellen's business partner Brad, Michael Ralph as Ellen's ex-husband Terrell Livingston, and Sherry Shepard as Ellen's sister Victoria Carlson. The show was among the first batch of original programming ordered by the newly launched WB network. It was put on hiatus in December 1995, having aired only 12 episodes, and was later canceled with 3 episodes left in the can. Ellen told Slate.com in 2018, "I don't think I was ready, in terms of being strong and saying, I can write, this is what I do, and feel confident in that, and to be able to say, no, this does not work, this works better." Minor Adjustments aired on NBC from September 16, 1995 until November 26, 1995, and then on UPN from January 23, 1996 until June 4, 1996. The series starred stand-up comedian Rondell Sheridan as child psychologist and family man Dr. Ron Ames. Rondell is also one of the co-creators. He and his wife, Rachel, played by Wendy Raquel Robinson, share 2 children. 4-year-old daughter Emma, played by Camille Winbush, and 10-year-old Trevor, played by Bobby E. McAdams II. Keeping life interesting at the office for Dr. Ames are medical partners, dentist Dr. Bruce Hampton, played by Mitchell Whitfield, and pediatrician Dr. Frances Bailey, played by Linda Cash, as well as the medical group receptionist and Dr. Hampton's niece, Darby Gladstone, played by Sarah Rue. Just like several other shows that debuted around this time, Minor Adjustments was added to the list of shows that started out on one of the major networks only to get moved over to UPN. In this case, after the first 8 episodes. And just like those other shows, the switch didn't result in a successful run, and Minor Adjustments was canceled after airing another 12 episodes. Buddies aired on ABC from March 5, 1996 to May 29, 1996. Comedians Dave Chappelle and Jim Breuer first appeared together on a 1995 episode of ABC's hit sitcom Home Improvement. Their feature was the network's chance to introduce the 2 characters to an audience before they started appearing on their own show, which was to be titled Buddies. Dave played Dave Carlisle, the black guy, and Jim played Jim Bailey, the white guy, the same characters from their Home Improvement episode. The show would even retain the character names of Dave and Jim's significant others, Phyllis Brooks and Lorraine Bailey, played by Tanya Wright and Paula Cale, respectively. The main cast also included Dave's father, Henry Carlisle, played by Richard Roundtree, and Jim's mother, Maureen DeMoss, played by Judith Ivey. The idea was that Dave and Jim had been best friends since they were kids. Now they have separate apartments in the same Chicago building and run a small video production business together. After their debut on Home Improvement, though, there were problems with their own show, as evidenced by the fact that almost a full year passed between the Home Improvement episode and the premiere of Buddies. They kept reworking the show, which included Jim being replaced by Christopher Garton, and the character's name changed to John. That move would prove to be fateful, since the whole point of the crossover was to build momentum for the show and to get people hooked on the buddies' relationship. Then they totally defeated the purpose of it by waiting a year to put the new show on the air, and they replaced half of the comedy team. The unique comic timing and chemistry that Dave had with Jim, his real-life friend, wasn't present with Christopher, and Jim's abrupt firing worsened hostile feelings. Not surprisingly, the show garnered disappointing ratings and was canceled after airing only 5 out of the 13 produced episodes. Dave himself was not proud of his involvement with Buddies, in retrospect telling CBS in 2004, "It was a bad show. It was bad. I mean, when we were doing it, I could tell this was not gonna work." Sparks aired on UPN from August 26, 1996 to March 2, 1998. Set in Compton, California, the sitcom stars Fresh Prince of Bel-Air alum James Avery as Alonzo Sparks, a lawyer running a family law firm with his sons, Maxie, played by Miguel A. Nunez Jr., and Greg, played by Terrence Howard. The cast also includes Robin Givens, playing Wilma Cuthbert, a Stanford Law School graduate who joins the firm as an associate, Kim Whitley, playing office manager Doris Mayberry, and Arif S. Kinchin, playing office manager Lamar Hicks. Just after it began its second season, Jet Magazine did a feature on the show, saying, "In between the laughs, Sparks is also a show which celebrates the Black family, romance, and education, and it shows hard-working, proud Blacks going about their lives and careers in a positive and professional manner." Even though it was the 8th most popular show with Black viewers, Sparks never ranked any higher than 125th in the ratings with general audiences. When it was all said and done, UPN cut 4 episodes off the 22 shows that were planned for the second season. Although Sparks was still officially on the network's schedule, those on the show said the cutback was a clear sign to them that the series had been unceremoniously canceled. Series creator Ed Weinberger said network officials notified him that the number of shows ordered was being reduced due to financial problems. The Gregory Hines Show premiered on CBS from September 15, 1997, before beginning its official run 4 days later, as part of the network's Block Party Friday night lineup. It ended its run on February 27, 1998. The series starred Tony Award-winning actor, singer, and tap dancer Gregory Hines as Ben Stevenson, a publishing agent and widower raising his 12-year-old son Matthew, or Matty, played by Brandon Hammond. Ben's just beginning to muster some nerve about re-entering the dating scene 18 months after the passing of his wife. Now and then he receives advice from his brother Carl, played by Wendell Pierce, his father James, played by Bill Cobbs, as well as his co-worker Alex Butler, played by Mark Tinchison, Alex's wife Nicole Morin, played by Robin Riker, and his assistant Angela Rice, played by Judith Shelton. While the show received positive reviews, it was still canceled after 15 episodes, leaving 7 unaired. Grown Ups aired on the UPN network from August 23, 1999 to May 22, 2000. The show follows the lives of 3 post-college friends who are coming to terms with adulthood. J. Calvin Frazier, played by Family Matters' Steve Urkel, Jalil White, is a frustrated junior manager in a corrugated box company whose roommate just left town, nearly leaving him homeless. He also learns that his high school crush is engaged to another man. With the help of his best friend, Gordon Hamill, played by Dave Ruby, and Gordon's wife, Sherry, played by Marissa Ribisi, Jay attempts to deal with his problems and adjust to life as a grown-up. While in the pilot episode, Punky Brewster herself, Soleil Moon Frye, appeared as Robin Carlucci, Jay's new roommate, the series was then retooled and her character was dropped. Fun fact, the theme song is performed by Tion T-Boz Watkins, 1/3 of R&B hip-hop girl group TLC.
Can't believe how the world has changed. I'm feeling good with my life and I'm reaching for my dreams.
In a bid to gain respect and put as much distance between what he can bring to the small screen now versus his past iconic character, Jalil said he told the network that he would only appear in the show if he could also produce, working alongside series creator Matthew Miller. Grown Ups initially garnered good ratings, but they soon dropped, and UPN canceled it, no less on a cliffhanger that was never resolved.